Welcome to another deep dive.
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Today we're diving into the world of introversion.
Yes.
And we've got
a great stack.
An amazing collection of articles and excerpts to guide us.
Primarily from Susan Cain's book.
Yes.
Quiet, the power of introverts in a world that can't stop talking.
Exactly. We're going to uncover what makes introverts tick, how they thrive, and why understanding these quiet strengths is so crucial in our world.
Yeah.
Which often feels very, very noisy.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It's fascinating how much we misunderstand and undervalue introversion.
Yeah.
I think our goal today is to equip you with a deeper understanding. Seeing it not just as a personality type, but as a powerful force in society, history, and evolution.
I like that Cain actually starts with a really unexpected figure.
Does she?
Rosa Parks.
Oh, wow.
She wasn't the...
You wouldn't think of her.
The fiery, outspoken activist that many imagine. Right.
She was described as quiet, even shy.
Wow. What do you make of that juxtaposition?
Well, I think it really challenges that common misconception that introversion equals weakness.
Right.
Or a lack of leadership skills. Think about the courage that Rosa Parks displayed.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah.
And the resilience.
It's possible that her introversion, her ability for quiet reflection and internal conviction actually fueled her strength.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a reminder that impactful leadership can take many forms.
It can.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you question that stereotype.
It does, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And Cain's book is full of examples like this.
Yeah.
Like dismantling this myth that introverts can't be leaders or can't make a difference.
Right.
And think about this.
Yeah.
Research suggests that a significant portion of the population, maybe even as much as half, identifies introvert. So chances are, many introverts.
You probably do.
Work with them.
Yeah.
Maybe even are one yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cain then dives into this...
this is great.
This concept that she calls the extrovert ideal.
I love that.
In America. Can you explain what she means by that?
Well, the extrovert ideal describes this cultural shift that prioritizes outward personality over inner character.
Okay.
Valuing charisma and a can-do attitude above all else.
Right.
I mean, think of figures like Dale Carnegie.
Oh, yeah.
And the rise of the self-help movement.
Right.
Emphasizing salesmanship and outward confidence as keys to success.
The problem is we've all been handed this cultural script, right?
It's true.
Be outgoing, be the life of the party, you'll be successful.
You'll succeed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this ideal has permeated so many areas of our lives.
Yeah, it has.
Cain points out how prestigious universities like Harvard and Yale began to favor gregarious applicants, even over brilliant introverts.
Wow.
It makes you wonder, what are the long-term consequences of this bias, both in education and the workplace?
I mean, it's worth considering how many brilliant minds and innovative ideas might be overlooked simply because they're not presented with enough fanfare.
Right. Like, are we inadvertently creating systems that prioritize style over substance?
That's a great question.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how much potential is being stifled.
It really does.
Right.
Yeah.
And to counter this narrative, Cain highlights these successful leaders who are introverts, like Bill Gates or Craig Newmark, the founder of Craigslist.
Interesting.
These aren't your stereotypical, charismatic, backslapping CEOs.
Right. Yeah.
But they've achieved incredible things.
They have.
So how do their introverted qualities contribute to their success?
It's important to understand that introversion isn't about lacking social skills. It's about deriving energy differently.
Okay.
Introverts often excel at strategic thinking, deep focus, and careful analysis. And these are qualities that can be incredibly valuable in leadership, particularly in fields that require innovation and complex problem solving.
So it's not about being the loudest voice in the room.
Right.
It's about having the vision, the focus to drive real change.
Exactly. And Cain even mentions research by Jim Collins, who found that many high-performing companies are actually led by introverts.
Oh, wow.
These level 5 leaders, as he calls them,
Okay.
prioritize humility and long-term vision over flashy charisma.
Interesting.
It challenges our definition of what effective leadership looks like.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Cain then moves into this really fascinating area of the science behind introversion.
Oh, cool.
She talks about a biological basis for it, right?
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a growing body of research.
Yeah.
Showing that introversion is more than just a preference. It's rooted in how our brains process information.
Right.
Brain imaging studies reveal that introverts process stimuli differently.
Okay.
Which might explain why they can feel drained by certain situations that energize extroverts.
So it's not just a matter of willpower.
Right.
Or pushing yourself to be more outgoing.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's about understanding your inherent tendencies. And Cain emphasizes that.
Yeah.
Both introverts and extroverts can stretch their personalities, stepping outside their comfort zones when needed.
Right.
However, there are limits. It's about working with our natural inclinations, not constantly battling against them.
It's about finding that sweet spot, that balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another important concept Cain introduces, free trade agreements.
Free trade agreements.
This basically means we can act out of character, even stretch beyond our comfort zones when pursuing core personal projects.
Can you give us an example of what that might look like in practice?
Imagine an introverted lawyer who needs to develop strong public speaking skills to excel in their field.
Right.
This might feel draining and unnatural at first.
I can imagine.
But with practice and by prioritizing self-care, they can develop this skill while honoring their need for restorative niches.
So recognizing when to push yourself and when to prioritize that need to recharge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Self-awareness and self-care are key. And this leads us to one of the most compelling arguments Cain makes: the power of quiet. Cain's book is filled with research highlighting how introverts often excel in areas that demand deep focus, careful observation, and thoughtful analysis.
Makes me think about those coding war games studies Cain mentions.
Yes.
Didn't they find that the
top programmers often preferred to work alone?
The best programmers.
It challenges the assumption that collaboration is always the best approach.
Right.
Sometimes deep work and individual brilliance are what's needed for true innovation.
So true.
Yeah.
How does this translate to our work environments?
That's a great question.
Are open office plans always conducive to the kind of focus that introverts thrive in?
You know, it raises a point Cain makes about the potential downsides of constant group brainstorming.
Right.
While collaboration is valuable, we also need to create spaces that allow for individual focus and deep thinking.
It's about striking that balance.
It is.
Recognizing that different tasks and different personalities thrive in different environments.
And this leads us to another interesting aspect of introversion. Sensitivity. Cain draws on the work of Elaine Aron.
I remember Aron's work.
Yeah.
Who's extensively researched this trait.
She argues that sensitivity is actually a strength, not a weakness.
Not a weakness.
Exactly.
Right.
She found that highly sensitive individuals are often deeply empathetic, conscientious, and attuned to the nuances of their surroundings.
And she even suggested a link between sensitivity and physical traits.
Yes. Like blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
And allergies.
And allergies, right.
Yes, though that connection is still being explored.
Right.
It's an example of how complex and multifaceted these personality traits can be.
Yes.
But the core idea is that sensitivity, a characteristic often associated with introversion, can be a real asset in a world that needs more empathy and understanding.
It's about reframing how we view these qualities.
It is. Seeing them as strengths, not liabilities.
And Cain doesn't just focus on Western perspectives.
Right.
She also explores how different cultures view introversion.
She does.
Which is really insightful.
It is.
What are some of the key differences she highlights?
She contrasts the Western emphasis on individual expression and assertiveness with the Eastern value of quiet and restraint. For example. She tells the story of a Chinese-American student struggling to adapt to the speak-up culture of American business.
That's a good point.
It's a reminder that our cultural norms aren't universal.
Right, they're not.
Yeah.
And if we look at, the success of Asian students on international tests, for example, it's hard to ignore that cultural emphasis on quiet persistence and diligence.
It makes you wonder if there are lessons we can learn from other cultures.
It really does.
About the value of introspection and thoughtful contemplation.
It's about recognizing that different approaches can lead to success, and that diversity of thought and perspective is essential.
This ties into another fascinating idea Cain explores.
Okay.
Finding your sweet spot.
Sweet spot.
Or optimal level of arousal.
Right.
She draws on Hans Eysenk's theory.
Okay.
Which suggests introverts and extroverts have different baseline levels of cortical arousal.
Meaning they thrive in different environments.
Right.
And levels of stimulation.
Different levels, yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Eysenck proposed
that
introverts require less external stimulation to feel alert and engaged, while extroverts tend to seek out higher levels of stimulation.
Okay.
Cain even describes a study where introverts and extroverts played game at different noise levels. They performed best when they were in their preferred level of stimulation.
It highlights the importance of understanding our individual needs and creating environments that allow us to flourish.
Exactly.
Right?
One size doesn't fit all.
It doesn't fit all.
And Cain offers some valuable insights on how we can navigate a world that often seems designed for extroverts.
Right.
For example.
Yeah.
She talks about creating restorative niches.
Restorative niches, yes.
Those spaces and activities that allow us to recharge and reconnect with ourselves.
What are some examples of restorative niches, especially for introverts?
It could be anything from taking a quiet walk in nature to spending time alone with a good book.
Yeah.
It's about finding what truly nourishes and replenishes you.
It's not selfish to prioritize those needs.
No, it's not.
Right.
It's essential.
It's essential.
For maintaining our well-being and allowing us to contribute our best selves to the world.
Right. And it's important to remember that introversion and extroversion exist on a spectrum.
They do.
Most of us fall somewhere in between.
Right, in between.
And we can all benefit from understanding these concepts.
Cain even challenges us to rethink our traditional notions of leadership.
What does she mean by that?
We often associate leadership with being charismatic and assertive.
Right.
The stereotypical take charge personality.
Take charge.
But Cain argues that introverted qualities like deep thinking, strategic planning, and the ability to listen and empathize are equally important for effective leadership.
It's about recognizing that there are many different styles of leadership. And that quieter more introspective approaches can be incredibly impactful.
Think of figures like Nelson Mandela. Or even someone like Bill Gates. Who is known for his thoughtful, deliberate leadership style.
They lead not through force of personality, but through the power of their ideas, their vision, and their ability to inspire others.
Exactly.
Right.
And Cain emphasizes that we need all types of leaders.
We do.
Both introverts and extroverts. To solve the complex challenges we face as a society.
It's about valuing diversity of thought and recognizing that true leadership isn't about fitting a mold.
No.
It's about authentically leveraging our strengths to make a positive impact.
And one of the most crucial points Cain makes is that introverts have a unique contribution to make to the world.
What do you think is the most valuable quality?
I think it's their ability to focus.
To focus, okay.
To think deeply.
Yeah.
To carefully consider all angles of a situation before taking action. In a world that often prizes speed and reactivity.
Right.
This capacity for thoughtful deliberation is essential.
It's about slowing down.
It is reflecting and choosing our actions with intention, rather than simply reacting to the constant barrage of stimuli.
Yes.
And Cain argues that introverts, with their natural inclination for quiet observation and reflection, are particularly well suited for this kind of thoughtful engagement.
It's a powerful reminder that our fast-paced, often chaotic world needs the balance and insight
It does.
that introverts offer.
Absolutely.
And Cain doesn't just focus on the professional realm.
Right.
She also explores the role of introversion in personal relationships.
She does.
I'm curious to hear more about that.
Okay.
How does introversion influence our interactions with others?
Introverts often bring a depth of feeling
Okay.
and a commitment to intimacy that can be incredibly enriching to relationships.
Yeah.
They tend to be great listeners.
Right.
And are deeply attuned to the needs of their partners.
But they also might need more time alone to recharge.
Yes, they might.
Than their extroverted partners.
Right.
Right.
It's about understanding.
Yeah.
And respecting those differences.
Understanding those differences.
Communication is key.
And finding activities that both partners enjoy, whether it's a quiet evening at home or exploring a museum together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about creating a dynamic that allows both partners to thrive while honoring their individual needs and preferences.
Sounds like open communication and a willingness to understand and appreciate each other's needs is really key.
It is. Yeah. And it's not just romantic relationships where these dynamics play out.
Right.
Cain also talks about introverted children.
Okay.
And the challenges they often face.
Right.
In a system that tends to favor extroverted behaviors.
It makes me think about classroom setting.
Oh, absolutely.
Where participation is so highly valued, even expected.
Right.
And that can be tough for a child who needs a little bit more time to process information.
It can.
Formulate their thoughts.
For highly sensitive children.
Yeah.
The sensory overload of a busy classroom can be just overwhelming.
Right.
Cain stresses the importance of creating environments that support introverted children.
Right.
Allowing them the space and time they need to thrive.
So instead of pushing them to be more outgoing, it's about recognizing and nurturing their unique strengths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that includes avoiding labels like shy.
Right.
Which can be limiting.
Yeah.
And make children feel like there's something wrong with them.
Because shyness isn't inherently negative, is it?
It's not. It's just a different way of approaching the world.
Right.
Cain encourages parents and educators to help children develop the tools they need to navigate social situations comfortably.
Okay.
While still honoring their authentic selves.
So finding that balance.
Exactly. Right.
Helping them build confidence without forcing them to conform to a mold that doesn't fit.
In this idea of honoring our authentic selves, embracing our introversion as a source of strength is really at the heart of Cain's message.
Right. She challenges us to rethink our assumptions about what it means to be successful.
She does.
To be a leader.
Yeah.
To make a difference in the world.
It's a call to action, isn't it?
I think it is.
To create a society that values quiet strengths, that celebrates diversity of thought and personality, that recognizes the power of introspection and deep thinking.
And she provides practical advice for introverts.
She does.
On how to navigate a world that doesn't always understand or appreciate their way of being.
Yeah.
For example, she talks about the importance of
setting boundaries. Creating those restorative niches.
Yeah.
And communicating our needs clearly.
It's about recognizing that self-care isn't selfish.
It's essential.
It's essential, yeah.
And it's about finding our voice. Even if it's a quiet one.
Right. Cain argues that introverts have a unique and valuable perspective to offer. And that the world needs their insights and their leadership.
It's an empowering message, isn't it?
It is.
To be told that our quiet strengths are assets, not liabilities.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
what's
the most important takeaway?
I think it's this.
Yeah.
Whether you identify as an introvert or an extrovert, understanding the power of introversion is essential.
Right.
It's about recognizing the value of quiet strengths, appreciating the diversity of human personality, and creating a world where everyone can thrive. And contribute their unique gifts.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And if this deep dive has piqued your curiosity, we highly recommend checking out Susan Cain's book, Quiet for Yourself.
It's a good one.
It's a thought-provoking and inspiring read.
Very inspiring.
That might just change how you see yourself and the world around you.
And remember, the power of introversion is something to be celebrated.
Celebrate.
Not suppressed.
It's not suppressed.
It's a gift. A strength.
Yes.
A force for positive change in a world that desperately needs it.
thank you so much for guiding us through this fascinating exploration of introversion.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners,
keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning.
And keep embracing the power of quiet.
The power of quiet.